Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are so happy to have you all here today to support Fair Futures for young people in foster care. We just took a little bit of time to start because we wanted to give other people some time to join in, but it's great to see such a strong show of support from all 26 foster care agencies in New York City. And if you have not already, we'd like to ask you to follow at Fair Futures NY on Twitter and visit fairfuturesny.org and click Take Action to let the mayor and city council know that you support Fair Futures, because it only takes 1 minute. We want to make sure that we are heard loud and clear, and the world knows why it is more important now than ever that New York City saves Fair Futures from being cut in the city budget. So please keep sharing your support on social media during and after the rally. Every single post counts. So I want to get started, and I want to introduce, if he is able and he's ready, Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams.
Yes, thank you so much. I was having problems navigating my Zoom, but this is so important to me as I continue to talk about the issues around our young people in foster care. I saw this as a police officer from time to time on both ends of the spectrum, young people who participated in illegal activities and young people who were the victim, particularly around sex trafficking and other areas of sex crimes. Many of them aged out of foster care without any foundation or support. And when this was first introduced to my team, I said, this is right on. This is something that is really a way of rethinking how we address the issues around public safety and how we reform how we deal with law enforcement on a whole. When you think about the number of young people who are housed at Rikers Island, a third of the 18 to 21 years old read below a fifth grade reading level, 40 to 50% are dyslexic, over 50% have a learning disability. And if you were to do a further analysis, you would see that many of those young people are from foster homes. They're more likely, as you know, I know I'm preaching to the choir, but they're more likely to be the victim of crimes, more likely to be evicted, more likely to deal with some form of drug usage, and just we're setting these young people up for failure. $50 million. When we talk about defunding the police, this is the type of switching money from our traditional militarized law enforcement communities and move it to being proactive and not reactive. And I want to conclude by just paraphrasing one of my heroes, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, and just paraphrasing him. He stated, we spent a lifetime pulling people out of the river. No one goes upstream and find out why they fell in the first place. Our children are falling into the river of despair because no one is going upstream. Fair Futures is a way of going upstream and preventing young people from falling in the river of homelessness, drug usage, crime, and all the other despairs that is really destroying their opportunity in their lives. I thank all of you for putting this together. I thank your advocacy and just making all of us smarter and conscious about these young people and ensuring that they can have the same quality of life that my son has. We want them to have it as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Borough President Eric Adams, for that. That was amazing. So the next person I want to introduce is NATASHA LIFTON from New York Community Trust. Hi, NATASHA.
Hi, thanks so much, ERICKA, and thank you so much, Borough President Adams, for those incredible words. We all couldn't agree more. So we're all here today because we know that Fair Futures changes lives. In last year's budget, the city included a $10 million investment to begin implementation of the model at foster care agencies across the city. Nearly all of those agencies started to implement the program at the end of last year, and in just a matter of months, agencies have made remarkable progress getting Fair Futures off the ground. Over 1,100 young people have gotten connected with a coach, and hundreds more are now working with a Fair Futures tutor. Any kind of cut right now to Fair Futures will hurt New York's young people in foster care and contribute to the city's staggering unemployment. And we also have to keep in mind that there are still hundreds of youth in care and thousands more who have aged out and are between the ages of 21 and 26 without the irreplaceable support of a coach. The city has a responsibility to act here. Most young people have parents, family members, or other adults in their lives that they can lean on for support in their early 20s, whether it be staying on their parents' health insurance, living at home for a while, or just having them there for advice and emotional support. But for young people who age out of care, it's different. They are completely on their own unless they have a coach. The city is the closest thing they have to a guardian, and they deserve the same support through adolescence and into adulthood as anyone else. They are the future of New York City, and we owe them a fair shot at success. So we urge the council and the administration to fully fund Fair Futures in the adopted budget. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Natasha. This is moving along so swiftly. So if there are any new joiners, thank you so much for joining us. We're gonna move on to our next person, a youth, DASHAWN Johnson from Windham. Hi, DASHAWN.
Hello, ERICKA. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Natasha, for those words. Thank you, Eric Adams. You know, we definitely appreciate you for being on here today. My name is DASHAWN Johnson, as she says. I'm a youth from New York City, 24 years old. Fair Futures has helped me a lot with mentoring. I've been with Fair Futures since day one it's been about 3 years. We started Fair Futures, the coalition. Now we have over 100 different nonprofit organizations all together. And you know, as a young man, I've been through police brutality. I've been through a lot of things in my life with foster care. But I always had one person, a mentor, has always been there for me. And what Fair Futures have done for me over the past years has made me become a better man. I advocate my voice more. I was able to advocate my voice as well. Currently, I'm a basketball coach. I coach high school basketball at Lamont Prep, and I coach for New Heights AAU program, nonprofit. And I was wonderful. My coach was always there for me. I went through some trouble through college, and it was a difficult time, but my support was always there. You know, having with Windham, I was with Windham for quite some time, and it was just from everybody. It was always supporting me, and that's what we need in our city. Like, we can't just turn our backs on our youth, because a lot of times our youth don't have nobody else. And a lot of these youths from my age, 20 and 24, 20 to 26, they getting evicted, they're homeless, you know, they're trying to maintain going to college, workforce, you know, their dreams. And Fair Futures, they're always there to support everything. And that's what we need, mentors. We need that coaching. We need coaching. We need coaches. That's what they're there for. And I just want to say thank you for everybody for having me today. Thank you for Windham. And I've changed my life, you know, for Fair Futures. If it wasn't for them, I don't know where I would be. I've grown as a man, and I'm rising. I'm gonna keep going up. Thank you.
Thank you so much, DASHAWN. So we've had already 3 amazing speakers, and we have more to go. We have YENIFER SANTANA next, who's also from Windham. Hi, YENIFER. You're muted.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, ERICKA, and sorry about that. We're still getting used to this remote meeting. So just to highlight, without Fair Future coach and tutors, only 21% of foster care youths complete high school, just high school, by the age of 21. And with a coach and with the tutors' help, with the Fair Futures program, it jumps all the way up to 94%. So I think that if we are really smart, just by looking at the data, we can see the difference that Fair Futures make in people's life. Like, for example, myself, I am an HL youth, and I'm also a mother of 2 beautiful girls. I currently graduated from BMCC with my associate degrees in psychology, and now I'm still studying. And I'm currently majoring in a BA degree in psychology. And without my coach, I don't think I would have made it possible. It wouldn't have been possible for me because only my first year of college, my first semester, I was in student probation. I went nuts. Imagine, it's my first time in college with no support, but just my coach. I didn't have no family member to be there to support me or to guide me through it, because I was also in first generation of college, you know. So it was hard, and then I can only imagine what will happen with all the other kids that might go through the same phase that I did without someone there to support them, without a coach, without a tutor. How it's going to be for them? So Fair Future is a program that won't only help life but change life and create futures for those youth that want to be better.
Thank you, Yennifer, for that. So that was 2 youth around Windham. And the next person we have is a youth from Hartshire St. Vincent Services, which is Cheyenne DEOPERSAUD. So Cheyenne, are you ready?
Hi, yes, I'm ready. Thank you all for watching and coming out to support our cause. I feel like my name is Cheyenne and I'm from Hartshire St. Vincent. I'm from Hillcrest High School. I just graduated from Hillcrest High School and I'm going to City College in the fall. I just wanted to voice my opinion on how important a coach is, because I've been in foster care for about 4 or 5 years now, and I think that I've heard the stories of people who don't have a coach and the youth that aged out of foster care, and I feel like I feel saddened for them that they don't have the opportunities that I have. I have a coach that, her name is Zakia, and she helps me through everything. She helps me emotionally, she helps me mentally, she helps me through every single thing. Yesterday, for example, I was applying for a job and I did not know how to write a cover letter. And me being 18 years old, not knowing how to write a cover letter, I was kind of embarrassed to ask her that. But she is the type of person that doesn't make you feel embarrassed. She is the type of person where she tells me, you can call me, you can text me, you can even email me and I'll help you through anything. Things that I'm supposed to ask my mother if I had one, things that I'm embarrassed to ask anybody else that I need help with, I'm able to ask her. And I feel like she is like the mother figure in my life, and she's the one that, she's the mother figure in my life, and she's the one that helps me through all of these things. And I'm so glad, I feel so blessed to have a coach. And I feel like a coach is someone who's there always to help you, someone who's there is to fill the void that our parents left us, and we don't really have family, we don't have people who are on our side to help us. But being in having a coach, it's like you do have somebody in your corner, you have somebody who's there to help you and support you and just talk to you about anything. And that's something that I will treasure forever, and I'm very, very lucky to have. I think that we need to support this cause, because it's not just me who has the same story. It's millions of other youth who feel blessed and who are lucky to have a coach, and there are other children who don't have a coach, that I'm here to speak out and say that we need coaches, we need the funding for coaches, we need this leverage, somebody to lean on, somebody to talk to, somebody to help us with all of our problems. And I feel like we don't. But if we fight for our cause and we fight properly and we fight the right way, then we can have the family that we need, the bond that we have, everything that we need. If we fight for it, we can have these people that are going to help us. So I urge you to support Fair Futures and help us, because I'm not the only youth that feels this way. I know that there are other youth too. Thank you.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for still sticking around. We've been having some technical difficulties and we plan to rerun everything back. So please hold on, do not leave yet. And we're gonna have AYESHA start in.
Thank you. Thank you, ERICKA. Thank you everyone for being here today. My name is AYESHA Young. I'm an education coach at Hartshire St. Vincent Services. I work with a lot of youth who are over the age of 21. As you all are aware, 21 is usually that starting point where you're coming into adulthood.
Everyone, thank you so much for joining. We just want to give people more time to log in. So just give us about 2 minutes. And again, thank you so much for joining us today.
That sounds like the recording.
Should I continue?
Please continue.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. So as I was saying, 21 is the time you're coming into adulthood, when you're really trying to figure things out. And it's very hard to navigate starting out in life when you don't have the support, when you don't have a family member. And that's what having a coach is like in Fair Futures. We're not only coaches, we become part of the family. And our youth, they experience a lot of trials and tribulations, but we have to be there for them to let them know not to give up, to keep pushing through, to continue to be motivated. I will share with you all, one of my youth, very spirited, very successful, decided to move out of town, was starting off doing very well. We started looking into realtors. She wanted to open up her own space and buy a commercial space. And then COVID-19 hit, and everything had came crashing down suddenly. My youth, she wanted to give up. She questioned herself a lot of times, but we worked through it and we walked through it. We're not going to give up. She didn't come this far to give up. And trials and tribulations will happen in life, but I'm happy I was able to be there for her. I was able to support her emotionally. We stayed on the phone. We practiced meditation, working out, checking up on each other's mental health. Career-wise, she's back on track now. There was a point in time during this pandemic when she received an eviction letter, and that can be scary, for a lot of people, period. So imagine when you don't have support and you don't have someone to talk to. We got on the computer, we looked up for her state, what the steps she needed to take, and I assured her, know your rights. They will not evict you. You will not be evicted. So I say all of that to say, ladies and gentlemen, we need Fair Futures. We need Fair Futures a part of the budget. We need it for all of our youth over the age of 21. We need it today for today's youth, tomorrow's youth, and for our youth for the years to come. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ayesha. So I'm going to continue moving forward with the next speaker just to make sure that everyone can hear what happened from Ayesha and after. So the next person I'm going to introduce is Harry Steves, the tutor from New York Foundling. Hi, Harry.
Hi, thank you so much, ERICKA, and thank you again to everyone who's spoken so far. So yeah, I work as a tutor for one of the tutoring programs here at the Foundling. We have education programs here that we've had, including tutoring, for 7-8 years now. And we have tutoring programs that work with kids from kindergarten through college, including 250 middle schoolers under Fair Futures. And what we've done here at the Foundling is proof that this individualized support works for our kids in foster care. In terms of higher graduation results, access to college enrollment. And we have those tangible results, but a lot of what we do and what we know is important is the intangible things that we get to work with our kids on in terms of building independence and skill building and confidence, and having trust in themselves and in what they're capable of too. And particularly during the quarantine, we were able to provide, I think, vital support in terms of access to technology and help with navigating technology that kids hadn't used before, and even in learning about how they can get access to technology, because a lot of families weren't getting this information directly from schools about that, or about the changes in what expectations were for classwork. So I think that's another reason why an educational component for Fair Futures is so important too, because we can help bridge that communication gap between schools and families. And for us too, what we're going to be working on soon is high school advising with our middle schoolers, which is such a critical time for youth in our city, especially youth in care, and especially because of the racial and the socioeconomic inequity that exists in our school system in the city. So we're able to provide, and Fair Futures coaches are able to provide that support and that information and that guidance to let families and students know that just because they're living in a district with an underperforming school doesn't mean that they don't have access to other opportunities. That we can help them navigate this nebulous application process to get them into a good school, a school that is going to provide them the support that they need to thrive and be successful and graduate in 4 years, and develop that independence and critical thinking skills that they're going to need, because this is, like we've been saying, this is a long-term game. It doesn't end when kids are in care, and we're working, and Fair Futures is working to provide our youth in foster care and our young adults in foster care with the tools that they need to become more independent. So that's why this is so important that we are investing in this. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Harry. And our last speaker is going to be Holly Smeltzer. Hi, Holly.
Hi, ERICKA. Thank you so much.
You can introduce yourself. Go ahead.
Many of us as youth experience the excitement and anxiety of waiting for a special moment to happen. Perhaps it was graduating high school or college, preparing for a job interview, or getting your own apartment. Many of us have only been able to achieve those rites of passage counting on the support of a consistent, dependable adult. However, for some young people, particularly those in foster care, the support of a consistent, dependable adult is not a given, and many young people age out of foster care without permanent long-term supports. Good afternoon. As ERICKA said, my name is Holly Smeltzer. I am a New York City foster parent, and I am also the Fair Futures Program Director at the Coalition for Hispanic Family Services. Our organization is proud to be a member of Fair Futures, a coalition of over 100 nonprofit organizations supporting young people in and aging out of foster care. Our coaching program, which just recently launched, has already begun to see profound impacts. Our Fair Futures coaches and tutors have been at the forefront of helping youth in care secure safe housing, food, and medical supplies during the COVID-19 pandemic. In the midst of this crisis, Fair Futures coaches, tutors, and educational support staff continue to provide emotional and academic support, and for many young people are the only support system they have. We ask the mayor and city council members, please reflect on special moments you've experienced in your life and think of those you've had in your corner, cheering you on and providing invaluable support to ensure your success. Now, please consider all the youth in New York City who may not have those support networks. I can't imagine asking my children, both in my home and those I'm fortunate enough to work alongside in the Fair Futures community, to go through those life moments alone. Let us make sure young people in care have the support of a consistent, dependable adult. Your action in supporting Fair Futures funding will exemplify New York City's commitment to the success of our young people in care. There is no better time than right now for the city to fulfill its promise to foster youth and show our young people we've got their backs. We urge the City Council to work collaboratively with the mayor to restore funding for Fair Futures in the city's budget. Thank you so very much to Borough President Adams, the entire Fair Futures Coalition, and all of our supporters, and especially to ERICKA.
Thank you so much, Holly. So that was Holly Smeltzer, who's a foster parent from the Coalition for Hispanic Family Services. And I just want to give one quick statement about my experience with my coach. I noticed that the times I needed a coach the most was in my most vulnerable times. And one of those vulnerable times was moving into college. I remember feeling so left out and like an outcast because everyone had their parents to rely on, and I didn't. But I had my coach who was there for me mentally, emotionally, physically, academically, and financially. And that is the purpose of Fair Futures, to essentially have someone who is not only just like a parent, but someone who's like a big sister, someone who's like a big brother, someone who can be there to support you in your emerging adulthood years, which is crucial. I do not know anything, and I'm still learning, and I didn't know anything at 18 or 21. So that is why she is there for me. So thank you guys so much for doing this replay with us. We apologize again for the technical difficulties, and we just want to thank you all for coming on today to speak to our local leaders and to tell them and the mayor that New York City cannot let our young people fall through the cracks. This city needs fair futures. So thank you guys so much for all the support, and thank you to all the amazing speakers. You guys are awesome.